Welcome to Motivation at Hand, Ma. To know is to know how. Make your foot the foot that counts. The king parades with pomp and flair. Yet in truth, his attire is bare. No robes of silk, no garments fine. Yet the people cheer, he's divine. His vanity knows no restraint. In his ego, he finds no taint. Though the world may jest and jeer, the king's illusions crystal clear. His people's love remains unshaken. In his naked truth, our souls are shaken. No fancy clothes, no royal pose. In his nakedness, their loyalty flows. For they care not for the garments worn. In their king's heart, their love is born. Breaking news. Arlington National Cemeteries. Spokesperson Carrie Meeker conveyed via email to CNN on Sunday. CNN reported that they anticipate the complete removal of Confederate statue in Arlington National Cemetery by December 22, 2023. Notably, this spirit of fraternity did not include African Americans, known as coloreds and Negroes, at that time. Colored was coined by the American enslavers, and was interchangeable with Negroes, at that time. As well as, segregation is known as Jim Crow in the 19th and 20th centuries. Back in 1871, Negro veterans petitioned the War Department to relocate hundreds of United States colored troops. Graves from the lower cemetery, where enslaved veterans and freemen veterans were buried alongside former slaves and poor whites. The request to move colored and Negro veterans to the main cemetery near Arlington House, where white Civil War veterans were buried. Here we are in the 21st century. The United States military made the decision to aligns with the Department of Defense's directive issued last October, 2022. The removal process, overseen by the Army, of Confederate symbols from U.S. military facilities. George Leventhal, from Greater Washington, spoke with Henry Cross, an expert in museum exhibit relocation. These installed Confederate statues in the early 1900s are a poignant example of public art employed as a tool for propaganda becomes evident. In the shape of a 32-foot tall bronze Confederate memorial, first erected in 1914. Arlington Cemetery, renowned for iconic landmarks like the Eternal Flame at President Kennedy's gravesite and the solemn tomb of the unknown soldier, holds a special place in the nation's memory. The bronze components of the statue will be relocated, and protective fencing has been erected around the monument to safeguard the surrounding landscape, graves, and headstones throughout the removal process. The granite base and foundation of the statue will remain in place to prevent disturbance to the nearby graves. Historically, Confederate remains were not allowed to be interred at Arlington until 1900, more than 3 decades after the end of the Civil War. The statue in question, designed by American sculptor Moses Jacob Ezekiel, 1844 to 1917, are among the individuals interred there. He served in the Confederate Army. Was unveiled in 1914. Depicts a bronze woman atop a 32-foot tall pedestal adorned with a crown of olive leaves. The sentiment expressed towards the Daughters of the Confederacy is one of strong disapproval and repugnance by Black America, specifically, and equity and justice seekers, in particular. She holds a laurel wreath, a plow stock, and a pruning hook, with a biblical inscription at her feet, Hearts Read. To our dead heroes by the United Daughters of the Confederacy. The monument also features depictions of a black woman referred to as a mammy, the slaver's name for enslaved African woman, carrying an infant of a white officer, as well as an enslaved African, black man following his owner into war. Despite this decision, not everyone concurs. Virginia Governor Glenn Youngkin, a Republican, expressed disappointment. He proposed a helicopter as the best way for the Army to remove and transport the structure from the sensitive burial site. They have helicopters that can move Abrams tanks. And they can do it in the dead of night, he said. Even as these minted Confederate statues of the 1900s are being removed. Nonetheless, the Confederate is strong today, employing former President Donald Trump, who holds influence transcending beyond party lines. into historical relativism, as we contemplate Donald Trump's relationship with the Republican Party. Some may recall terms like insurgent and anti-establishment. After all, this former reality TV personality and bankruptcy master secured the 2016 nomination with minimal support from GOP members. However, the political landscape has evolved since then, especially as we approach the 2024 Iowa caucuses. Trump no longer fits the mold of an insurgent. The GOP is working to normalize his acts of insurrection. In fact, data analysis indicates that he now embodies the establishment for election 2024 and Make America Great Again. One significant factor is the endorsement of race. Recently, New Hampshire Governor Chris Sununu endorsed Nikki Haley, potentially boosting her candidacy in the first Republican primary state. Last month, Ron DeSantis received a similar endorsement from Iowa Governor Kim Reynolds. In the battlegrounds, these endorsements, however, are exceptions rather than the rule. Approximately 100 members of Congress and governors have pledged their support to Trump. House Speaker Mike Johnson, who has proclaimed he is Moses, endorsed the former president, and his predecessor, Kevin McCarthy, has committed to supporting Trump. Since 1980, only 2 Republican presidential candidates in a primary without an incumbent have garnered more endorsements at this stage. Bob Dole in 1996 and George W. Bush in 2000. Both were firmly entrenched in the political establishment, with Dole serving as a Senate Majority Leader and future leader at the time, and Bush being a well-regarded governor and the son of a former president. In the 2024 race, neither DeSantis nor Haley comes close to matching Trump's endorsement tally. Even if you were to combine Haley's and DeSantis' endorsements, Trump still boasts approximately 10 times as many. History indicates that Trump benefits from a high number of endorsements. In 2016, he secured the Republican nomination without having the most endorsements leading up to the Iowa caucuses. Endorsements are not the sole indicator of Trump's shift toward an establishment-oriented campaign in 2024. Trump is the clear fundraising leader within the GOP this time around, with his political operation raising over $45 million in the most recent quarter. Adversely, Trump has spent millions more than he's raised in 2023, headlines at Politico. However, Trump insurgent label has been concretized. Bloomberg's reports, Trump owning the GOP back in August. Today, Trump's profile is supported by a super PAC, led by the GOP fundraising for the 2024 presidential primary. Furthermore, in polling, Trump outperforms his rivals among a demographic often associated with the establishment, white voters with at least a college degree. In a recent Monmouth University poll, Trump garnered 41% of the vote among this group, while DeSantis, his closest competitor, stood at just 24%. Trump's advantage extends not only to those with a college degree but also to those with a postgraduate degree, a demographic where he faced challenges in 2016. A recent Pew Research Center poll indicates that he has gained support among this group as well. In summary, Trump's support currently exhibits no significant breakdown because of his demagoguery. In this 2024 contest, Trump possesses both establishment backing and financial resources, positioning him favorably for the Republican nomination. While facing 91 criminal indictments, so as the Confederate statutes are being removed out of sight. The Confederates are not out of mind. So what will it be, America, in this hour? To follow the king, to have all the power. No democracy's call, he enjoys the fire. To chart a course where he can thrive. It's time to take that deep dive. Or fall to the whims of power in its dark embrace? The choice is ours to make. Or is it already baked? Much appreciation to you for giving of your time with us at Motivation at Hand. To know is to know how. We trust you will come back soon.